This conference will now be recorded.
Is 23,000 is from between 2000 and 25 would be at 53.32 cents per thousand. And that's where it gets calculated by usage.
Exactly.
And then the commercial goes up because no residential uses anything over that.
And it's a demand type system.
Yeah, so, just because the rate's going up 13% does not mean that we're projecting the revenue to go up 13%.
But we're hopeful.
We're hopeful.
Just to add, when you say like percentages of 13,
Yeah.
where it equates to $5 per quarter,
Correct.
and it also brings it in line with what someone within the village of Lake Placid would be paying.
We are still under that.
Still under
Yeah.
that amount, so that number can seem scary, but if we were to put it in real terms, it's $5 per quarter, and it's still below what people in the village of Lake Placid.
We are following the norm.
But Andy, why do you think that won't equate to more revenue?
It will, but I don't think it'll equate to 13% increase.
Okay.
And the reason
Mostly because.
it's usage.
The average volume of water Raybrook users use is under 50,000 gallons of water a day.
So,
Yeah.
Okay.
and the last time we raised the rates in Raybrook was 2018.
Now, when we,
Before that, it was 2012, I believe.
when we move to the prisons, if we're successful in that venture, they will use minimum 230,000 gallons of water a day.
Yes.
That's when revenue kicks in. All right, we're at 5:15, so at this time, I'd like to move ahead with a public hearing on our preliminary 2024 budget. Lori, you're up.
Notice is hereby given that the preliminary budget for the town of North Elba for the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2024 has been completed and filed in the office of the town clerk, 2693 Main Street, Lake Placid, New York, where it is available for inspection by any interested parties during regular business hours. Further notice is hereby given that the town of North Elba will meet and view said preliminary budget and hold a public hearing in the meeting room of the North Elba Town Hall at 5:15 p.m. Thursday, November 9th. At such time, hearing any person may be heard in favor or against the preliminary budget as compiled or any item or items contained therein. Pursuant to Section 8 of the town law, the proposed salaries of the following town officers are hereby specified as follows. The supervisor, $45,000. Councilman, each $9,499.46. Town clerk, $59,805.20. Superintendent, $77,238.40.
Superintendent of Highways.
Superintendent of Highways. I just said, yeah. The link is there, by order of town board, Lori Dudley.
Thank you, Lori. Any highlights or anything you'd like to bring up for Sydney, or again, we can give her the whole document?
Sydney, are you okay with waiting until Monday to get the specifics, or do you want me to talk?
To be honest, it's my Friday afternoon, so I will not be writing any stories until next week anyway.
So good. So we'll talk on Monday, but basically, we're under we met our tax cap by $22.
Yep.
Just so we have a little wiggle room.
Never know what they're saying.
You never know. And we are appropriating $1.1 million in fund balance, which we are projecting will leave us with about $2.6 million at the end of the year.
At
the end of
next year.
End of this year.
End of this year.
So, wait,
At the end.
when is it appropriated then?
Okay, so
We're using the money this year.
Okay, so the way the budget works is when we build it for 2024, it's what we're projecting is going to happen for the whole year. So it starts at the beginning of the year. So if we say that we're going to use $100,000 to balance the budget, it happens at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
So it's set aside, so it can't be touched throughout the year. And then at the end of the year, when we reconcile everything, we either use that $100,000 or a part of it, or none of it at all, and put more money back into fund balance.
So we're expecting that at the end of '23, the fund balance will be 2.6, and we are gonna set aside 1.1 of that.
No.
No,
So-
it's
so-
2.6 plus 1.1 is what we currently have.
So
3.7
Okay.
million was the one.
So before the budget, at the end of this year, I'm projecting that there will be about $3.3 million total fund balance.
Okay.
And we're going to appropriate 1.1, so and I misspoke, it wasn't 2.6, it's 2.2. But, so you start with the 3.3, you set aside the 1.1, you have 2.2 available to use as necessary, if necessary, throughout the year in 2024,
Okay.
until you get to the end of the year. And I will say, that in all my time here, when we appropriate fund balance, I think there's only been 1 year where we haven't actually returned money to fund balance. Like, if we say we're appropriating
We never.
500,000, we don't usually use the whole 500,000. We usually end up only using a portion of it.
Which is a good segue. I'd like you to talk a minute about how you helped us work through fund balance policy.
Yeah, that was the other thing I was gonna say, that we're still following our policy.
We are trying, yes, we are following policy to the extent that we're trying to keep our policy within, we approved the policy this year. For the first time, we have a fund balance policy in place, which states that for our major,
Earlier, can I come in?
Come on in.
for our major
We might
funds,
have to fight.
Oh,
the intent is to keep between 15 and 25% of our budgeted expenditures in fund balance. Anything over that is permissible, but would be set aside with the intent of having it for a reserve for, like, say, equipment purchases or tax stabilization or
So
something.
we're also not letting it go too low.
Right, that's where the 15% would come into play, which is why there's a few funds, the water and the sewer and the fire protection,
right.
where we're actually raising more taxes to put money into fund balance for those funds.
Yep.
Because,
It's clear to me.
yeah, it's clear as mud, because those are the ones that generally are most susceptible to increases or changes. Like I said, the fire protection comes in and we have no control over the budgets for the fire protection
Right.
district. So if the villages decide that they need to buy a new engine and they want to bill us for it,
73%
It's nice.
of it. Yeah.
our purpose going forward is to have some money set in fund balance so that we don't have to bill our taxpayers 20% increase in
We're a
1 year.
little bit past 5:20, so I'm gonna move into the public hearing on a senior exemption.
So we're closing, you have to do the move.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
No, you can just close the meeting.
No,
I can close that public hearing.
because we're adopting the budget in the regular.
In the regular meeting, yeah.
Right, so
We'll just close the public hearing
close meeting.
at 7:24, or 5:24.
5:24.
You like the way I'm thinking?
Okay.
Get out of here.
Where's the other one?
So now I'll open the public hearing for senior exemption.
Yeah, notice is hereby given that the town of North Elba will conduct a public hearing on November 9, 2023 at 5:20 PM in the first floor meeting room, North Elba Town Hall, 2693 Main Street, Boston, New York, to consider adopting a local law to redefine income for persons 65 years of age or older to qualify for partial real property tax exemption. Said law is available for review in the office of the town clerk. The public is invited to attend and comment on the proposed law, either in person or via GoToMeeting. The link is there, and by order of the town board, Laura Devitt.
Very good. Are there any comments from the public on the senior exemption? You're not old enough. Any further comment from members of the board or our finance officer or our town clerk? With none, I'll move that public hearing for senior exemption be closed.
And we have 6 minutes.
You guys need me to hang out for the rest of the stuff.
No,
Because we have your budget.
So,
adjustments.
yep, the budget amendment,
I have a
the
minute.
budget for next year, which
Yep.
includes the rate increase for April.
That's right.
The third.
So a motion for both of those.
Uh,
And then
Oh, I thought because Raybrook rate change
I
is
would,
included, I will,
I'd like
I
to
will
see
make
it
them
specified,
separate.
yeah, I would like to see them specific in the minutes so that we can point to it for the auditors when they come.
okay,
And then the budget amendments and then the
so we're gonna,
claims for
okay,
payment.
we'll adopt Raybrook separately.
Did you get an agenda? Or not?
Did I get one or am I on?
Do you need one?
So in the budget amendments, you guys, I emailed them to you all in separate emails from the other extra, but the only thing in the budget amendment that is actually the balance is the Raybrook. Is that 1,000 something Raybrook.
Yeah, why does it say census?
I don't know, I did not type those in the agenda.
Okay.
I think she was, I think that was related to the rate increase. I
So
don't,
that's why it's on your number.
So just like a typo.
I don't know. I don't know who typed it up.
Oh, where do you see that?
It says Rayburn water users census.
Oh, that is for me to talk to you
I
about.
was really supposed to be there.
Yeah.
The review of the users and.
That was,
Oh,
yes.
that was me.
Tim or
Yeah.
something.
Oh,
I talked
okay.
to Brad today,
Oh, you,
so we can do a house count
okay,
and identify them with current billing, and if they aren't there, fix it.
okay.
And I'm gonna,
Because we found that one that wasn't even in the,
that's
on the
right,
assessment roll.
I'm gonna try to allocate $5,000 from ARPA funds
Okay.
to pay the village for the time spent for this census. Yeah, and I went over basic estimates with Brad today.
Yeah, that would be helpful. That's a good start.
Yeah,
Okay, so,
so we're good.
okay, all right, then I'll
Thank
finish
you,
it out.
Pat.
Thank you.
We probably won't say.
Time invested by the
If I had that
trustees and
choice.
board members. So good job.
Okay.
Sydney, I'm glad you're on tonight because you're gonna be meeting Adam DeSantis,
Oh.
Our new economic-
Reimbursed for their time.
development person.
Okay. I just crossed this off.
You too. Safe travels, Pat.
I was texting Dick, that's what I was hearing. Like,
Oh, wait.
he probably thought, I'm assuming he thinks you start at 5:30. Unless,
Says he's feeling better,
Yeah.
but Patty's down pretty hard.
What do they say?
yeah, they.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
I feel like this is the second time they've had it while they're down there.
Yeah.
Free spirits down there, that's what you get.
Listen, it's a tough lifestyle.
I know, right?
You are exposed on those items.
Jeez,
Yeah.
driving your Mercedes down to the airport. Oh, man, the kids change their time. Oh, no, to the airport, so then they fly to their timeshare in St. John's and then drive from their Jeep to the village.
So this changed a lot.
That's fine.
And then this is really quick. Actually.
Thank you.
Very quick. What are you doing?
That's Jay, other than the rainy day, rainy, snowy, it's coming.
Yeah, this is.
So Jason, Dick usually comes
How are you?
Yeah,
Thank you.
withdraw.
agenda, it's your job tonight,
Oh, okay.
so I don't skip.
Oh, fair enough. It's an amazing skill that he has, that he's able to elaborate extensively on each subject and keep track of them at the same time.
So,
2 minutes. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Do you think I should?
You can be good at abstaining. Yeah, it doesn't make any difference.
I
What's on the
My
decision?
daughter is desperate to get a dog, so we're
Dan,
considering it.
once Adam gets introduced and stuff, I won't make you wait till the end. We'll bump you right up.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be quick and sweet.
Yeah.
That's fine.
no,
I appreciate it.
Otherwise, I have to
wanna-
wait.
You sure you don't want to wait till the whole meeting?
I'll get back and hang out with you, MJ.
You get a free show.
MJ says that-
I know it's exciting, but
Do you know what date that we're gonna reschedule the lead presentations?
Just to December.
the December meeting, December 5th. The nice thing about November meetings is you don't have to park in Wilmington to get here.
That's very true.
All right, it's 5:30. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please rise to pledge the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hello, Dick.
Hey, Dick.
Hello, everyone. All right, I'd like a motion to approve the minutes of both October 3rd and October 25th. However, there's one correction, Lori, that you can do tomorrow. I'm pretty sure under the vote for the PD for the marina vote,
The
Jason.
declining of the motion to decline the PD change, I was absent. Like, I voted.
Oh, yes,
he wasn't in there, but he was an aye.
yes,
All right,
I forgot.
But so moved.
all right, at this time,
Second. All in favor?
yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Carried. Thank you. At this time,
What about this guy on the screen?
he can't vote,
Yeah.
No.
I thought the new rule said you could.
not virtually.
Oh,
He can attend,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It's like, we're glad where he's at, but he has no say. Yeah,
Unless it's emergency something. So.
that's the new virtual law for New York State. If you
That's
attend
too bad.
virtually, you can't vote. Yeah. At this time, Mary Jane and Adam, feel free to come up.
But you, as agenda keeper, Jason,
Yeah,
do you want to
budget.
do your jumping budget?
You said you wanted to put the budget first.
Yeah, but because Kathy isn't here, it doesn't make any difference. I was only gonna
Okay.
do that because she was here.
Sorry, maybe I was checking.
This group is trying to confuse me.
You said you tried
I'm following the
the
rules.
agenda.
And like, as long as you're, it
Listen,
looks like
That's
you're
the
going,
agenda.
you
Yeah.
know, it's like, it sounds good to me, but Emily might not.
must be in the water. You're on, MJ.
Thank you very much. So we're here this evening to introduce Adam DeSantis. He is the new North Elba Essex County Director of Economic Development. And so Adam's been with us for about a month. So we just wanted to let Adam introduce himself, give a little background, and give you the opportunity to ask any questions. And we'd like to come back as often as you'd like us to.
Very good. Welcome to the town board, Adam.
Thank you very much. I
You can
appreciate
see how exciting it is.
I know it's riveting.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate the opportunity to come and meet everyone tonight. I know I've had a chance to meet several of you, but it's been, I think about 5 weeks now. So it's just getting up to speed, doing a lot of networking. But I'm really excited to kind of dig in and, with a big emphasis on housing and, working to diversify the local economy. That's what I'm here to do. So excited to get into it. I come from, spent about 15 years in senior housing in the Capital District, built a number of projects down there. So I have quite a bit of experience in multifamily housing. And prior to COVID, had worked on spinning off an affiliated brand of affordable senior housing. And so I've done a lot of work in the low-income housing tax credit program through New York State, along with some of their other programs that are out there, and hope to bring some ideas and certainly some ideas surrounding different ways to fill out the capital stack that's required in these projects. I know it's as much as there's a need for lower income housing. One of the things that's unique to the town is really trying to fill that middle housing need for a lot of the professional people who are working in and about the town. So excited to get into it. Happy to answer any questions or.
Couldn't agree more. MJ, what do you think about this setting to talk about how Adam's position is paid for? I think that's an important thing for Sydney to understand. Do you want to fill in at all on the town's role and Roost role? Because I think it's a good example of a collaborative effort, recognizing the need in both the town and countywide.
Yeah, I was saying recognizing the county too.
Yeah.
So the town portion of Adam's salary, or the position's salary, comes from the CTEF funds. And so that's the 2% funds that is generated through occupancy tax. So it is not our constituent taxpayer base unless they stayed in a hotel or short-term rental. It is the occupancy tax that the town portion is. And I'll let MJ speak to the Roost portion.
So somewhat similar, this position is, it's a collaboration between Roost, which is all of Essex County, and North Elba. So our portion of this position salary comes from the county's allocation of money to Roost to help with the Community Tourism Enhancement Fund and for this position specifically, which is the economic development. So it's a North Elba, Essex County position, and the emphasis on housing, not only in North Elba and all other economic, along with housing, economic development and support in the rest of the county. So it doesn't come from
Tax base.
Definitely doesn't come from the tax base. I mean, occupancy tax clearly comes from the traveler that stays in our community in lodging or vacation rentals.
Now, I think equal important for us on a town level is we're excited to have you work with Haley, bringing our community development person, and there will be many things between the two of you that will complement each other. So it's a plus all the way around for us. So we wish you huge success.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
And he is joining the comprehensive plan committee. So that's his first foray into like a connection with Haley and first project that they'll be working on together.
Good.
And on Monday, we are going to our monthly meeting with the county where we'll be introducing Adam. And from there, Adam will be making, his introductions one-on-one with the different town leadership and different organizations throughout the region.
Where is that, MJ?
At the county.
Oh,
Yeah, the economic
I won't be there, I'll be in the woods, so you can represent me.
Should I sit in your seat?
Sure.
Okay, good. That's
You're
good.
It might be a little off track, but while we're talking comprehensive plan, I'd like to get your take on whether we should consider our ideas for master plan for the park district to include it in comprehensive, or have you already dedicated your 6 or 7 bullet points? Because if we're going to be paying money regardless for this study, and this group that we have on board would like to include it in comprehensive, does it make sense?
Yes.
I think I discouraged you early on. I guess I didn't really understand it. But if it fits, I'm okay with it being part of that contract.
It doesn't fit seamlessly. It makes sense to have a separate contract, but there's a lot of things that can be done at the same time.
But they're hedging on giving us a separate one.
Yeah. No, they're not.
They aren't?
Did you see the last scene?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think they just were trying to figure out what, I don't know, they were, I think it was the delay with the contract.
Okay, I know,
the state contract.
I know you're gonna be talking to someone next week.
Yes,
Okay,
I wouldn't worry about that.
all right. I don't worry.
Do you think it's just because of the scope of what they're asking, the comprehensive plan, it doesn't align, or is it just, you feel like the matchup might get lost in the
It's too
overall
specific.
focus?
And also the other thing is that there is state money involved in the comprehensive plan, and there's no state money involved in the master plan. And so that's where I think there's some confusion about contract. We didn't want to be confusing pools of money and who was paying for what.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think it makes sense to have a separate contract, even though a lot of the things will be done in tandem.
Okay.
Adam, do you have anything specific at this early point in your career that you'd like to focus toward? I know housing is the big word, but is there anything relevant right now to put your finger on? Probably not.
Yeah, I do. I think the success of implementing an economic development plan that meets the needs of the town and the county really hinge on finding some successes with the housing.
Right.
So that's really where my emphasis is right now. Obviously, keeping kind of my eyes open and a broader mind towards the economic goals that will come separate from those. But
Sure.
we need to make some gains on housing.
Well, at the very least, you are welcome. Any month you want to come back here and give us a report.
I appreciate
Don't
that.
wait for an invitation. I tell
Understood.
NJ the same thing. She's always welcome.
Better than any streaming show you'll find.
Yeah. Anyway, certainly welcome, and
Thank you
our
very much.
paths will cross quite often.
Yes, they will.
Good deal.
Well, I look forward to it. And
We're sorry to miss you at the county on Monday.
I'm
You
not
sure you
gonna-
don't want to come out of the woods for it?
Here's what I tell everyone. There's 1 week every year when I can tell the world go to hell, and it's coming up
Coming up.
next week.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, then
Some would
that's-
say like, I'll see you in a week, but you can do that.
yeah. You'll represent me well.
Okay,
All
sounds
right.
good. Enjoy
Thank you
your
very
summer.
all
much.
right, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Unfortunately, we aren't going to have leaf presentations tonight. There is still ongoing discussions on a number of, there's no real,
There's no rush.
yeah.
I think we'd rather have all of our board members present. But you did say that, Dan, it's good. It's
Yes,
keeping you on track.
come on up.
Let's take all the jobs, huh?
Gosh, this is weird.
Oh, thank you for your time. This first part is water under the bridge. I have 6.5 acres. The APA granted me 4 building lots on the same wetlands that we have 22 family housing built on either 3.1 or 3.2 acres. We all know that. Okay, one thing is I hired a lawyer and now I've had more lots on my thing. You know, encroaching on the wetlands, I think is kind of crazy anywhere in the Adirondack Park, but whatever. So beyond that, there was 8 times that I have recorded on Facebook, and I can give you the dates and times that the Fawn Ridge development has worked past 7. One was 9:30, one was 11:15 to paving. And, you know, these laws were made way before any of you were here with the 7 to 7 rules. But to have a bark with no bite is absolutely ridiculous. And anywhere ever I've seen, they start off with a fine of whatever, and then it goes to a fine to whatever, and then it goes to a serious fine. 5,000, 10,000, 25,000. And if you can impose this, because all you folks can do right now basically is say, don't do that again. Don't do that again.
Can you, I guess I'm a little, can you fill me in a little bit more on like the specifics? Because I'm a little, I guess,
So on, above me, on the new housing.
Dan lives.
no.
Then I'll start with that.
Okay, so I live at the end of Chickadee Lane, which is
Okay.
on McDonald's, and you
Yeah.
go to West Valley,
Just
Chickadee
become
Lane.
very full track with them.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I live right across the new development, which is called,
Pioneer Lane.
what's it?
Pioneer Lane.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, now I,
It's Fawn Valley.
Fun.
Right? It's, what's it
Well,
called?
the
It's
organization
Homestead.
Homestead.
Homestead, but it's a Fawn Ridge development or something like that, phase 1,
Yeah.
phase 2.
Okay. No,
And, okay, and so, there's been 8 times that I have recorded it, and I can bring up the times on Facebook that these people have worked after 7. The last time was 11:15 when they were
Yeah.
paving, PM.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's absolutely ridiculous. And I don't care if it's a private contractor or if it's the nonprofit group that's doing this. There has to be rules above this. And you can get pavement out of Plattsburgh. Guess what? It costs you extra money. Well, you know what? That's just the way the rules and the laws are. 7 to 7 is the ending time. 7:15 is fine. 9 o'clock roofing in the pitch black, somebody should have called OSHA. And it's just was 8 times in my neighborhood that I had to deal with this. And I've repeatedly went and voiced my opinion about this. And yes, it is on the rules that it is against the law, but all they say is, no, 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 don't do it again. No, 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 don't do it again.
Did you file a complaint with Mike or with the?
Oh, yes, Derek's, I went right around. I called the local police, I called the state police. I have reports from both of them.
So it's documented?
Oh, yes, it's very well documented.
Okay.
And 11 o'clock at night to be paving and hearing beep, beep, beep is just absurd.
Okay.
And it's water under the bridge. There's nothing you can do because our development's pretty much done. But the next people in this town that have to deal with contractors that do whatever the hell they want is not right. And this board needs to implement some sort of fine system. And it needs to be based on like $5,000, $10,000, $25,000.
Something that would actually deter them from breaking law.
Yeah. And I think that this town board needs to do some sort of, do that. And
Follow the code, in other words.
Well, enforce the code.
Right.
You can have a barking dog, but if it don't bite, it don't, there has to be some repercussion for this. And 8 times this summer. And we're not talking, 7:15 is fine, but 9 o'clock, 11:15, that's absolutely absurd. And if money is the object, like I hired a lawyer and I talked to him, he goes, yes, you can go after him and we can go to Essex County and we can get a grand jury vote on it. And I'm going to waste more money than I'm going to get.
And plus it's housing, it's a development to put housing for people who are like in a certain economic range, and you don't want to impede that, but at the same time,
They
shouldn't impede your ability to enjoy your.
They shouldn't have special rules.
Oh, I understand.
And then that was the second point is, how many times has this board ever allowed somebody to work after 7 o'clock? I got a letter in the mail. Has this happened 25 times in the last 10 years, or is this the first time?
Oh, I may have voted for one.
Well, generally people don't ask.
Yeah.
They just do.
To answer to his question, I think it doesn't really come across. I haven't come across.
So I got a certified letter like my neighbors that said that because the crane truck was expensive. Well, I'll tell you what, the crane truck was long gone before 5 o'clock, and then they went to roofing, and roofers can come when they want, and
You're not the first one to complain that developers or whatever building have gone beyond.
Oh yeah, there's lawsuits all the time, and there's big money and lawyers and blah, blah, blah. I'm just,
Well, I don't mean to minimize it, it seems to be sort of more symptomatic that we need to address it from the code enforcement.
Yeah, start hitting them where it hurts, in the wallet. I mean, point blank, it's great to have rules and regulations, but if you hand out parking tickets that say, please don't park here again, everybody's gonna
On the
park.
last instance, we did follow through, Dan. And ironically, the culprit was a problem in many places all summer long. Doesn't satisfy your concern.
My
We
con-
gotta get a handle.
My concern is over. I've been disturbed. I'm moving on.
Just follow the rules. you're telling us.
Well, not just follow the rules. Get a bite to your bark.
Yeah.
Get a thing on the books and go after the contractor and hit them where it hurts. And the first one's $5,000, the second one's 10, the third one's 25 or 50 grand. All of a sudden, people are going to start to and have that in the contract when they sign it. Right up with Mike, or is it Margaret, the new lady? When the board, whatever it is, that's my biggest concern about this is I just like to see the town board have some sort of bark with their bite.
Proper enforcement.
Proper, and the village police can't do anything, and the state police say, and I don't want to sound ignorant or redneckish, but I brought my excavator home and I was going to drop big rocks on little rocks at midnight for the next 2 or 3 nights just for the hell of it. And I said, that's not very nice to my neighborhood, to my neighbors. Why would I want to do that? But, you know, this D&D paving and the general contractor, he came and apologized to me about it. And he said that he told them they couldn't work after it. D&D paving didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
And they're there to make their money and stuff. And this town board needs to just start fining. Just put some sort of books, some sort of rules on the books that make, you know, other than to say, don't do it again.
All right.
And that's, and then I have a second thing. So for many, many years, I have brought a truck down and a magnet says the garden center. I brought a truck down to the horse show grounds. And my truck says the garden center, 8.6 miles west, biggest selection of flowers. Never really had a problem with it. Butch Martin asked me a couple times to move my truck out of the first parking spot over the second parking spot so his tractor trailers can get around. No problem. Go and move it. Not a big deal. This year, Lori Martin, I believe it is Lori Martin, Butch's wife, is her first name. And Butch called me up and said, Dan, you know, can you move your truck? Of course, so I moved my truck. So then Lori calls me up and she says that she rents this property from the town of North Elba and she can throw out anyone for any reason off this property. So I guess that must mean color of skin, racism, my sexual gender, you know. So I just, before I contacted the state of New York and pursue this more, I figured I'd come and talk to the town board as to, she has complete rights of the horse show ground and she can throw anybody out because she doesn't like me. She doesn't like the color of my skin. She doesn't, you know.
You can't discriminate against anyone because of like protected classes, so that's.
Well, I know, but she said she could throw out
Yeah, but
anyone
there's
for any reason.
protected classes, so that's like a crazy statement.
Oh, I know, that's what I mean, well, maybe it was because I'm too tall.
I think he's speaking to the point that Lori is saying, I have the authority to throw anyone off.
Here is the
property.
issue.
And that to clarify that, I'm not sure.
We have a contract with Lake Placid Horse Shows, and they control all of horse show grounds from June 1st to July 31st.
Okay.
So it is exclusively Lake Placid Horse Shows.
Mhm.
That's what she was referring to.
Yeah, by all means, but she just told me she can throw me off for any, you know.
It's the first time I've ever heard something like that
And I
they
understand.
should throw somebody out. I can't say I agree with
Was
that.
it during that time, during that window of time?
At the horse show time, I parked my truck down there and it says the garden center in Raybrook with the largest selection of flowers, da, 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 da.
So
And-
Brad,
But I'm just gonna say right now, like, that's illegal. Like, so you can't have an off-premise sign.
No, it's a magnet. It's a magnet on my
But why
truck.
is your truck parked there?
For advertising.
But that's, Jason, 100%, that is illegal. Like, you just copped to like.
No, that's fine. I just didn't know.
It's on him. I understand where he's coming from. And I don't necessarily know if we're able to resolve this particular situation. The other one, I would see there's merit, but that's sort of.
I actually
There was
thought, Dan, you were gonna say, and then this year, Mike Borticelli told me, that's an off-premise sign, and I can't have it. That's where I thought you were.
No, they didn't say
Well, you're in the weeds, and I was thinking the same thing. I was just
Yeah.
like, but then you threw us a curveball and said, Lord Martin. So I thought that was-
Okay, I guess ahead of the Lake Placid Horse Show.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's fine. You know, I have permission to park at the Triangle across the way. I didn't push the issue this year. I went to Jerry Strack. He claims he owns the Triangle across the way. Once again, I'm not sure illegal magnet signs that are on the side of the truck are illegal because I can tell you how many horse show trucks down there say the name of the horse show on the side of the
I think
You
it's-
cannot park your vehicle with a sign on it in terms of, to like make it a sign in an advertisement. That's an off-premise sign. Like,
Oh, so you park and then leave your truck?
yeah,
Oh,
And
okay,
it
I
says,
must have
like,
missed that part. I thought you were
8.6
part
miles
of.
down the road is where the store is.
So
Yeah,
it's
so
against the law.
I imagine-
It was my fault then. So
I guess
came
if
to-
Jerry says that you can use his triangle as a parking lot, I know that does open, I don't know, that's another sort of question I don't have. the answer.
Well, the next thing is we just follow through and I park it on Jerry's property and then we have a course of action and blah, blah, blah until the notification comes and then maybe you guys will say, no, you can't do that. And then there won't be any
That's
fines.
what happened.
And then there won't be any fine. And then I'll park my truck there the next day and you'll not do that again.
I think we got
No, I mean-
Conduit services.
Because literally you cannot, like, this was one of the
This is right,
issues.
it's conduit services all the time.
depends on the.
No, because he's parking it as an advertisement, like he's putting a sign I'm telling you, in the code, it very explicitly says that you cannot do that. You cannot you can't park at Jerry Strack's with a big sign on your truck that's like an advertisement for something that's strictly an advertisement, not your vehicle parking. People can have their logos and their companies on the cars and then you drive them around, but you can't park them and make them sign.
And then leave, I guess, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
The leaving part of it, like if you're conducting your own business on site, that's one thing, but if like you just park and then you get into another car and then leave. I don't know if that's something I can help or be part of a solution for. The code enforcement one is one that I find that is a serious one that needs to be.
Yeah,
This one I like to help you out, but.
I just wanted to game, and I didn't know the rules and I was in the wrong, so it is very a fine thing, but I just was very shocked when Lori Martin said for any reason, for anything, she can just tell me to get off her property. That's like the town of North Elba. I was like, wow, that's,
It would have been, I think it would have been more beneficial if she was to, I wasn't part of the conversation, to more thoroughly describe what the situation was and what the circumstances were, so that it would force her to do something like that. Instead of, maybe you've condensed it in order.
well, just, I did it for many, many years. Butch Martin never had a problem when, I moved a parking spot over. Nobody ever said boo, they just, you want me to move my truck? I'll move my truck, not a big deal. This year.
Sounds like Butch was kind of helping you out a little.
Well, it's a small town. I mean, it's, it's just, and that, so I was in the wrong. So I have no problem. I understand.
Did you call Butch and say, hey, why did your wife tell me to leave?
No, I don't really. Butch, I think, has enough problems with his wife. Like we all have enough problems with our other spouses that we really don't need to.
I was just wondering if you explored that.
No. Laura, they need to live in the same house. I don't think. I should have went down at 2 o'clock in the morning. Bang, 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 bang. I want to know.
What you told me. I got Lori today.
What else you got on your?
That is just a to-do list,
All right.
and one of the last things is, this was the first time that a letter was ever sent out, It's just, it seems that the town board is involving themselves, and I'm sorry if it costs other groups money to make these problem, they just have to pay the extra problems. They just can't break the rules or send out a certified letter that said we're going,
Yeah.
And 8 times I can go through on my Facebook and tell you the times and the things, and I have them recorded. I have them noise recorded with my phone from it, And I mean, 1 or 2 times is one thing. 8 times is way crazy. 8, 11, 15 at night.
That's excessive.
Is way beyond excessive. And I just would like to see a bark to your bike. That's all. And thank you for your time.
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks, Dan.
And I didn't realize the board was this small.
Well, there's 2 of us. We're missing 2.
Have a good night. Thank you for listening to me.
Are you in the public looking to speak about anything?
I don't know, that's a tough act to follow.
What are you just here?
Actually, what's your last name?
Murphy.
Murphy?
How are you, Pat?
Good, Derek, how are you?
Good. Bill, you can be involved with us when we talk about cannabis tax?
Just here to listen.
Okay.
So do you want to go back to the budget?
Well, we're into new business now anyway. So let's approve the benefit water and sewer districts. I'll take a motion.
So.
You want a second?
Sure.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
No one opposed? Sorry, Dick, you can't vote.
We appreciate you being here for support, though.
Yeah. All right, we have 2 when it comes to adopting the budget. 1 to adopt the budget and 1 to adopt Raybrook new water rate increases. So I'll take a motion to adopt the 2024 budget.
So moved.
Second.
No further discussion? All in favor? Aye. No one opposed? Carried. I'd also like to take a motion to adopt the new rate structure for water in Raybrook, which will go to $85 even each quarter for minimum rates.
That's a roll call vote.
Yep.
Good job, Jason.
A motion first?
So moved.
Did we do seniors right now?
What's that?
Senior. We didn't see exactly on what.
That's next.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, sorry, are they both roll?
Why do you need a
Yeah, I
roll
think
We
call?
don't need a roll call for tax
Senior?
rates.
You don't need a roll call for benefit water.
Adopting the budget?
No,
For the benefit water, you need a roll call?
we need just the roll call for the seniors.
For the
Oh, that's where we were at, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we approve both the budget and the Raybrook water.
Yeah.
So we'll take a motion now to approve the senior exemption.
A roll call.
Yep. Jason?
I'm glad you remember.
You too? Emily?
Aye.
I'm an
Can't
aye,
forget her, like, what do I do? I better come around more often.
and we'll try to get the other two there when they get back in town. All right, so now let's move on to a letter that I forwarded to y'all from the Village of Saranac Lake. Jimmy Williams sent it over to us with regards to the potential revenue from taxation of cannabis sales. As you well know, initially, we looked up how the state looks at these situations. And in a non-contractual senses, the way the state looks at it is 50% to the town, 50% to the village. In this case, as you know, there was an appeal letter sent to us asking for us to consider all the tax revenue from cannabis going to the village.
It was worth the ask.
Yeah. In any respect, I'd like to open the discussion now.
Yeah.
You know, there's a number of different issues related to this. Certainly, you know, we didn't opt out, so we still have the ability
Mhm.
for a cannabis shop to be
Mhm.
in the town of North Elba.
And the way they phrased it is if one municipality was opted in or would be able to opt out, and the other one, then they would, at a minimum, would split 50-50 unless they can come up with some sort of proportional agreement. So,
Exactly.
so as a baseline, it would be split 50-50.
So we do have the option of adhering to the 50-50 option or opening up further discussion and maybe an MOU or a contract. I guess I'll field opinions or whatever.
I'm for like the straight 50-50. And I see like the previous, the email from the town treasurer, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the mayor. For me, in order to say, like, and this is what I brought up to the town board, when these shops start to open up, I would like to see the town board dedicate a percentage, appropriate a percentage of the sales for youth, whether it's education or recreation or something, or grants, something that they can create a sort of facilitate some more proactive, providing youth more opportunities for proactive sort of.
To keep them busy instead of buying drugs.
I'm trying to get too worried. To keep them busy, to be more like inclusive, because oftentimes with the surveys that the school has taken, that the youth generally found that they feel disconnected from the community and from the school. And obviously, when we are a tourist-based community, they seem that oftentimes the youth feel that the tourists are prioritized. So another way, if we can generate some revenue in order to kind of build some sort of, and have a pool of funds for them to be able to draw on for projects that make them feel connected to the school and the
Yes.
community. So I was hoping to see that if Saranac Lake, I understand it's in Saranac Lake, and I know it's still relatively new, but what are the costs associated with the dispensary in, or not dispensary, the store in Saranac Lake? Is it increased lease? Is it, are you also doing a percentage for youth to, like a pool of funds for them to do grant writing or be involved for education, cannabis education, and so on and so forth? That would be the only way for me to be able to open up my perspective to be able to negotiate something other than just a 50-50 split. That's my take, so. I know I just rambled a lot there.
No, I guess my question, certainly, we all talked about potential revenues and putting it toward education.
Mhm.
I agree 100%. I guess a more logistical question, from my point of view, would be centered around, I wouldn't want to lose our ability to recover tax revenue down the road should another cannabis shop be in our town.
Mhm.
But in the village, in the Village of Lake Placid.
That's,
Exactly.
let's say, we're gonna be faced with the same thing since they opted in, or the public opted in, it would be, they would agree it's gonna be a 50-50 split regardless of what. And I think the only thing that's difference is because they, on-site consumption passed, but not in North Elba, so I
That's right.
don't know we would have any access to those tax funds.
We wouldn't,
We would,
So,
we know that.
yeah, so that's.
Same way that the town of Harrystown and the Saint of Armand don't have any access to the Village of Saranac Lake. If that store would have opened in other towns, they would have been cut out.
Yes, so, yeah.
Dick, should I offer input from you?
Sure, we've discussed this before, you and I, Derek, other people, and, whoops, hold on a
No, you're
second.
good. You're good.
Good? Okay, my screen just went blank. I got you. I'm good now. Jason, you got some good points. And can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just my screen's doing funny things. I think we should leave it the way it is, 50-50. And Jason, you bring up some good points that I hadn't thought about, is if they had said that they were dedicating funds, that would maybe sway me the other way. But right now, and by our previous discussions, saying that we'd like to take any revenue like that and put it toward what you just mentioned. Therefore, I'd like to keep it, my opinion is keep it at the 50-50.
The only other thing I'll add is that I think it's a disservice to our taxpayers and our voters who voted to opt in. And I think part of the rationale for voting to opt in was they saw this as a potential revenue source.
Right.
I mean, people that it wasn't like, yeah, I'm sure there was a lot that would be in their thought process of voting yes, or I think it was a double negative, so
Yeah, so
voting
they
no.
don't know.
But one of those things was a revenue source. And I mean, when I talked about it, I said, hey, it's potential revenue. Like, why not? Do you just want to, I mean, there were so many people who said, like, let it be somewhere else. And I'm like, but it's potential revenue. Like, and they said, oh, I guess I can see that. So I think it's a disservice to our voters who voted to opt in to say, oh, sorry, it's, we're not going to get any split of the tax revenue.
Yeah, that's a good point, because that brings back a couple things that, well, a couple times people said things to me was some of the people when during the process, they said they really, like, I'll paraphrase, they said, I really don't care that much about whether we allow it or not, but I think it's a good idea, as you said, to the revenue, to the town. So
Yeah.
Again,
I think
why should we give it away when the voters are expecting it, the residents are expecting it?
I think for a lot of people, that was their number one reasoning. They don't plan to use it. They don't plan to shop there. It was just like, hey, why should it be somewhere else if we have it here and have some revenue?
Yeah. And with the cursory sort of research that I did for the business, they do delivery. So it's not so much like people coming to the shop, they do deliver. And you want to ensure that your community Saranac Lake stays safe. I'm not saying that, I'm not doing the whole 1920s,
Sure, because it sounds like you're going.
No, but you want to ensure, because it is so new. And I've been to California, there doesn't seem to be much else. However, I am part of, I have some family that are police officers in surrounding counties, and they say there are some interesting things going on that are not necessarily exciting for us. So we just want to ensure that we just maintain a level of safety, and sort of, I can understand Saranac Lake wanting some additional revenue if there seems to be like a needed police officer, so on and so forth. I get that sort of thing, or they want to increase education for cannabis use, because there are companies and there are kids that confuse. We're moving in a new generation, maybe that isn't that big of a deal, but if they can specifically cite that, then that gives us a basis of discussion to say there's a justification, other than just, we want a piece of, like, what would be a revenue pie? And I don't think that's fair for us either to do. We just want the revenue too. We should have a percentage, or at least appropriate some of that for education and so on and so forth. And not just leave it as just money to be spent by the municipality.
And I will add that that this has been talked about before, not necessarily about the Saranac Lake request, but about the potential revenue from cannabis. And I will say that I heard from members of the public like our constituents who said, stop talking about using it for special things and just offset our taxes. So I do want to just put that out there, that is feedback that I got.
Have we ever used anything to offset their taxes?
Well, if it goes in the general fund.
No, but I'm just saying, I've been in this for 14 years. I've not seen any sort of additional funds other than our,
Except for 1.1 million this year,
what's that? Oh, with
to
the,
keep us under the tax cap.
yes, well, that's our general fund, but I
Yeah.
was saying, but that's, there's some projects that were neglected that put us into that sort of situation. But
Sure.
in the ARPA funds, we were able to, from the federal government, subsidize. Otherwise, it would have cost more
Of
for
course.
the taxpayer, or we wouldn't have been able to even do that. So I understand that. That's why I said a portion, whether we don't know what it's going to be. It could be 1%, 3%, or if we want to put a dollar amount. I understand there's a revenue that needs to offset taxes, but it should be part of that. Because if let's just say alcohol was just starting to be sold again, 1920s, I would have the same approach. Maybe with those sales, there should be a percentage for education, because that's just my perspective. I still drink.
So the education didn't work?
Well, no, I just don't drink too much.
Anyway,
And I don't drive.
21.
Yeah.
All right, so I think probably we've been around the horn enough now to realize that we're gonna hold it 50-50. Not looking for a reaction from you, Pat.
Oh, yeah, I guess his poker face is just like.
Yeah. So is there any further comment before we leave this topic? All right. Next up is our ARPA allocations. I have two things on here. One is beautification, and the other one is a Raybrook water users census. And I think I'm just going to touch on them quick because I prefer for us all to be together, but we still have further discussion on just what we want to tackle at beautification with the fences. Dick and Rick have been there. Did you go down there to look at those two, the fences?
The beautification fences, yes.
So we're trying to come to a good decision on how much to do. But within the next month before the new year, I want to be able to allocate money so we've locked it up. Dick has a good relationship with Lee, so we can get I know we have that full price of 33, but I believe we're gonna find somewhere in the middle, maybe two.
Yeah, I'd say probably knowing what the full figure and what we can actually take out and everything like that, I think we could easily cut it down to the low 20s, easily.
Okay, so really, I just want to keep it in our minds so I can allocate stuff, because we only have until, I think, next spring to have our whole list allocated with a spend down within the next year.
By 2025.
The second thing is, I'm going to appeal to this board for around $5,000. I've been working with Brad to be able to do a water users census in Raybrook. We have a number of places that probably should be on a quarterly billing instead of commercial. It's not a big number, but we also have many places that probably aren't even being billed yet. So we need to do like a door-to-door census, and Brad and Tim have offered to help us get through that, and it will help Kathy out tremendously in our billing. And as you know, as we keep going back to the so-called well for $2.9 million to finish phase 2 and accommodate our direction for the state prisons, we need every single water user being on the invoice part of things. So anyway, that was really just a reminder. I'd like to move into pickleball now. Did you get a chance to read those things from the Buffalo guy, the resurfacing information?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. As you know, I already okayed they're coming to drilling and putting in the posts for the nets. I understand a lot more. Yes, it's $5,600 to come core those, but it's a 24-inch core that goes down through, and then they dig down and they put like a mushroom base, like what are those bases called? Sonotube. You know, when
There you
you,
go.
when,
Yeah.
when you pour decks and stuff, it's a mushroom-based cement base that holds these posts. Apparently, people quite often lean on nets and stuff, and these posts have to be firm. So anyway, that coring is going in this fall so that when they re-pour the concrete, it can cure for a length of time before the resurfacing goes on. That's a minimal cost. I have to follow through and find out if they need an overnight. He thought they were coming to Vermont anyway to do some work. But you'll read in these proposals, we have to pay for housing because they come from Buffalo. Now, we've looked for a company, a resurfacing company for pickleball for virtually a year now. Most wouldn't do concrete. This is the only company I found that does concrete and has a success rate with it. So we finally found somebody that can help us out. The major difference in the two estimates is $21,000 to do just acrylic colors and lines, or $41,000 for a cushioned surface, which does mitigate injuries. That's one of the first things he said. But for $21,000 extra, he wasn't sure it was justified. Now, either coating will give us 10 to 12 years. It's not a full warranty of 10 to 12 years, but he said he's been in this business a long time. And when they put this same surface on tennis courts anywhere in the North Country, he never goes back in anything fewer than 12 years.
My only question about thinking, because we talked about this before, and I was like, you don't need that 21,000 for the cushioning. But my only worry would be that people wouldn't use them because the other courts do have that softness.
Right.
The tennis courts here.
Yeah, like there was like a give to them. And then I know some people play like inside the elementary school, and that floor, that gym floor obviously has like the same give. And so I just wouldn't want them to be, I would hate for them not to be used.
We'd
Make
like
this
them
much
to
of
be
an
an
investment
attraction.
and then stop.
Yeah.
And then. it
So
just takes
I'm on
too
the
concrete
fence about
house.
the extra money to make them that, because I want them to be utilized.
If this helps you, what we have left to allocate is around $110,000. So do we have the money? Yes. Yep.
So, yeah, it's just with Emily's master plan here.
But I-
We need to maximize its use if we're gonna
I don't
further invest that
know if it
amount.
really impacts it or not, but I just think that there's like a comfort level when something has that smush to it.
Now,
Yeah, well, even,
I do know that the majority of players, I don't want to use the term elderly, but believe it or not, they are.
it's catching on everywhere,
Yeah,
even the younger people.
yep.
When I say younger people, I say mid-30s.
Here's the problem. I don't want
Played
to
for the
put,
first time last
I
time.
don't want to put too much pressure on you for a decision, but he has 18 people right now for the spring. And I told him I need them here by the middle of June. So when kids get out of school and people start flocking here, we need those courts open.
Mhm.
So,
I'm for it.
Dick, you got any feelings one way or another?
Well, my first question is, obviously, we want it done. So if we need to get on his list, either way.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, so the way, my interpretation is, if we take time, not a lot, but let's say a month or two, if that, to decide which surface we want, it's not going to really matter that much. But we just need to tell him to do it.
Let me
Correct.
offer that. He'll want a signed contract to get on the list. And
Oh, okay.
I'll ask him for forgiveness on what the application is gonna be, let's say until March 1st.
Oh, I wouldn't even say, I'd say by the first of the year, we would know, if not before.
Okay, Okay,
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's fine to go ahead with the actual, the basic of the coring, the nets and the painting.
okay.
We, in other words, we want the job, if he wants a contract, like you said, we just say in the contract, basically want the job done, type of surface to be determined by January 1st.
Would that, I guess circling back to Derek's point, would that extra 20,000 prioritize us or deprioritize us in that list?
I don't think it matters. I mean, I think he's
I don't
just
see
gonna
where it
do.
would matter.
It will be 2 more days, I know that. So it'll be the cost of putting them up, which we have to accept as well.
So we could you're either stating, let's say ARPA funds, and then, I'm not sure if I'm using the acronym correctly, the CTLE, we could, in theory, if we have the ARPA
Yeah,
funds, but we're just trying to not to make it come out of the tax
Yes.
base.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
So it is gonna, an enhancement in tourists and locals.
exactly.
Okay,
It won't be tax base.
okay.
It's not in the budget.
Yep,
Right.
okay. I think that's a good direction. All right. Let's move on to, we'll get Emily to talk to us about Pioneer Lane and what's going on with the dedication of that road.
Yeah, so that road has always been designed and built, to be a town road. And it was paved, as Dan highlighted, a couple of weeks ago.
Under between 7 and 7?
Yeah. No, it's not. It was I 100% agree with that. It was completely inappropriate timeframe. It really was that late, and Homestead was fine for it, which is fair.
Mm-hmm.
And the process, so it's not a public hearing, and I did confirm that with Mark. It says on the agenda, set a public hearing. It does not need to be a public hearing. I confirmed that with Jackie and Mark, our attorneys. And right now, the attorneys so the Homestead attorney and our attorneys are exchanging documents and insurance things and surveys and moving forward with that dedication. So hopefully it is on the agenda for December 5th so that the town, because Kenny obviously doesn't want to take it over until we've officially adopted it and are assured that the right insurance and everything's in place. But Kenny has signed off on it. He's been there multiple times and it is built to his specs and to town specs per code.
I might have missed it. Did you mention that we are accepting the cost of that with the work that Mark does? Because typically it is Homestead that.
Oh, so.
How much was that?
No, it's not. It's not typically. So typically.
I mean, I said it exactly backwards. In our history, we have always initiated a road dedication and used our attorneys to do it because Ron has done 3 or 4 for us.
Yeah, and so it's like a code revision, like we keep having these little code revision conversations. So really that onus of expense should be put on the developer's attorney. And it is, I would say it's being split right now because Janet's gonna have to invest probably 4 hours in it. So, I mean, it is being split, like it's not like you can do it without the developer's attorney. But previously the town attorney had done a lot of the legwork. But I think it should be on the developer and not on the town attorney.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Like, because otherwise it's on the taxpayer.
So I guess is it on the taxpayer? Are we accepting the cost or are we not? I guess through that, I'm a little confused.
Well, so in the past, the town attorney has always done it. And so it's been a taxpayer expense, like the legal process of dedication of the road.
Yeah.
This time, I would say it's our attorney kind of pushed back and said, hey, that's a developer attorney thing. And so they're expecting more from from Homestead's attorney than I think was previously expected, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Before I'm trying not to.
So what are we deciding on?
Our previous attorney did a lot of the legwork and at the expense of all the taxpayers, but at least it got done. Like, I think that's why he did it, because he knew how to do it and it was fast, and so he just did it.
Yeah.
And our attorney kind of pushed back, our current attorney pushed back and said, hey, the developer's attorney should be doing a lot of that.
Okay.
And so now it's kind of like a 50-50 split of
How much is it?
Oh, it's maybe $1,000 in legal fees.
Oh, okay.
It's all just legal fees. It's not like survey fees or anything like that. It's legal fees.
Okay.
So the developer's attorney is preparing a bunch of documents that our attorney will review them and give them to us and say, these all meet the criteria of road dedication.
Okay.
You can
And
now
then the
accept
town is going to
accept the road.
accept the road at the cost of
There's
what?
no- there's
Oh,
no-
so the develop, so I'm just, because I was a little confused the way the exchange happened that we are going to, and you're saying that's not typical. I'm just trying to like get to like,
He was
There's
very
the time-
specifically talking about legal expenses.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So there's no fees, nothing that the
No,
town's gonna pay for?
it's, it was all designed to spec for the legal size easement. The meets and bounds, all that went through. Now it's just a matter of filing it.
Okay.
But did we approve Pioneer Lane first?
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah.
Oh,
So we did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a sign there.
Oh,
It's really exciting. It was like, that's
Spelled
what,
correctly too.
yes. There's one that's not spelled correctly if you're looking for a sign to put up somewhere that doesn't spell Pioneer Lane the right way.
All right, enough on that?
Yeah.
All right, I guess now we can move to budget adjustments. I mean, I'm sure you've all looked at them
They
this
came
afternoon.
yesterday or today?
Late this afternoon.
No, that's.
Yeah,
I
she
can
sent it
let
by
you
email.
guys here.
Okay.
You know how I love to give you papers.
Am I going to the last page?
right, she also gave you the entire,
Oh, that's 57 pages.
yeah,
The
like
financial,
your email. How's that not?
yeah, that's where we can look up anything, but what, you're looking up that one that said census? Is
No, I'm looking up the budget adjustments that there's a $14,000, is that overage for Craigwood flooring and pickleball court Reading Park District? Oh, it's transferred.
It is a transfer because we didn't do the decking. That's actually a credit.
Oh,
That's-
and then it's
that's-
back down there.
Yeah, that's money that wasn't spent.
We didn't do the decking?
No.
There's no decking out there?
Should we just table this one? Or let everyone be here till-
No, it's fine. I mean, I trust Kathy's budgeting, but I really thought that there was new decking at Craigwood. Maybe they didn't do all of the decking.
Well, what is out there for decking was we bought like 6 or 8 14 footers and fixed all the bad places.
Okay.
I'm reading this. I'm guessing, I will re-verify this, but I think that 14,000 that didn't get spent on the outside deck is what we're using to do all the inside hallway. Remember Matt talked to us
Yeah.
at budget work session.
Yes.
So they're taking it from what was allocated for the deck and putting it toward the inside
Inside.
flooring.
This conversation's coming back to me now.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything else that's outstanding. There was some yellow highlighted. We talked about the $1,500 from Swazo Engineering, which was related to grant writing, looking for money to help us out with what is gonna be
That's where.
probably a Rosamont,
Yeah.
which will be a major undertaking. So with that being said, I'll take a motion to accept budget amendments.
So
A second.
Second, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No one opposed? Carried. Let's see, where does that leave us? Committee reports, anything going on?
Well, Emily just went over that one, so
Yeah.
we just go to the audits, so moved.
Yeah,
Usually Kathy chimes in and does like her, her little monologue, yeah.
you second the audits?
I do.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No one opposed? Audits are approved.
We have Fred here.
Hello, Fred.
Hello?
We're at the portion, well, Derek moved everyone up to the front. You came in a little bit later.
Yeah, I got here late.
Did you?
Plattsburgh today, so.
Uh,
It's fine, I don't really say.
Okay.
Well, then congratulations to Derek and Emily and Dick for their,
He's showing.
Yeah,
All
that's
showing.
I know what they say, close only counts in horseshoes.
Yeah.
And hand grenades. Right?
That is
That's
what
right.
it's saying.
Watch out for those hand grenades.
Yeah, I know. And then people say it's up.
Here, Sydney is on the line if you want to.
Anyway, you're rushing through, you got an appointment tonight?
What's that?
You have
It's just been a long day.
Okay.
Sydney, we're going to be in need of an executive session. But before we adjourn the regular meeting, do you have anything for us?
I do not today.
All right, thank you. And certainly, Monday, feel free to get a hold of Kathy and get whatever you need from our public hearings.
All right, sounds good. Have a good holiday.
Thank you for joining.
You too.
Hey, Dick, I will send you a new link for executive session, or do you already have it? Oh, you're on mute.
I know, I just texted you. Just email me a link, please.
I will. 1 second.
Okay, thanks. Okay.
I'm saying Emily Jason.